Hey. Welcome to the Real Money Coach Show here. It's Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and we are here each and every week. And so if you're watching wherever part of the country, city that you're watching from, make sure that you put it in the chat so that we know that we're live, that we know that you can hear us, and we can say hey to you wherever you happen to be. I do want to remind everyone that this podcast, this show, this live Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram is also available on all your podcasting platforms, including Apple, Spotify, Google, all those places as well. And we have an excellent show for you tonight. And I know every time I come on, I tell you guys, we got a great show for you tonight. Hey, Kimberly, thank you for checking in. I always say, hey, we got a great show for you tonight. And it's just so amazing is that every week, in and out, without fail, God just brings these super guests on. And, I'm not like a lot of shows where we, send out a list of questions before and we kind of rehearse before. We just come and sit down in front of the computer and come to you live, right? And it's organic and it has worked out each and every week. And so I have no doubt that tonight you're in for a treat. I was super, super, super excited when I met the young lady that's going to come on tonight, Vontenea and her husband, Chris, and they have a company, an investment company called Secure Living. And you're going to find all about that because I know there's many of you out there who want to get into real estate, who you may really want to get into real estate. You want to own a piece of property, but you may not be able to buy a piece of property on your own, or maybe you don't want to risk buying it on your own, or maybe you don't want to be a landlord or whatever. You don't want to be a flipper, but you do understand the value of real estate. And so tonight, the show is for you. The show is for you. And so you'll find out more about that as we go. I do want to remind everyone of a couple things that is coming up. I've been doing this each and every week, reminding you of the Power Networking Conference that is coming up. And there is, it's going to be phenomenal. I'm hearing about some great folks that are going to be in attendance. I think I told you guys about Master P. The last name in our meeting earlier I heard today is, I believe if she's not confirmed, she's close to being confirmed, and that's Tiffany Haddish, right? And so Tiffany Haddish is going to be there. It's going to be live. It's going to be a lot of fun because she is hilarious. And so Tiffany's going to be there, as well as some others, names that you might recognize. Boyce Watkins. You guys know I have a fairly close relationship with him, and John Hope Bryant and others. So it's going to be a great conference that will take place here in Charlotte from July 10th through the 13th at the convention center. The host hotel is the Westin Uptown. And if you come to Charlotte and you say you're going downtown, everyone will know you're not from Charlotte. Okay, so don't say that. Say uptown. So it's all taking place in Uptown. And so there's one of the flyers. We have some more that'll be coming out. We have some great videos too. And we're going to be kicking this whole event off at Top Golf in the university area. I believe that's going to take place at 6:30 p.m. That's going to be a reception, food, all that great stuff. So that's coming up. The other thing, and we'll have some more this information, flyers, we'll post it for you as well, is that I will be speaking at our men's conference at Mount Carmel Baptist Church, the men's conference that is going to take place the 7th and 8th of June. So that is coming up as well. And a whole lot of other stuff in between. Oh, and I have another announcement. We will be doing a financial wellness seminar that's going to take place 2 weeks from yesterday. So that's Monday, April 29th at 7 p.m. April 29th at 7 p.m. That will be taking place. And you will see more information about that if you visit therealmoneycoach.com, or if you're part of our private Facebook group, which I want to remind you to join that and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. So that's all my announcements for today. Let's bring on my co-host, Mrs. Michelle Mitchell.
Hey, Tony.
Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Good.
What's going on in Kalamazoo? I had a good conversation with my buddy the other day, Mr.
You
Mitchell.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we making plans.
Yeah, I'm making plans. So
We
tell
are.
me a little bit about the small business. I'm calling it kind of concierge service. Kind of what are you guys doing there?
Yeah. Our Empower, Thrive, and Scale program is for newer entrepreneurs, freelancers, consultants who are just getting started in their businesses. And it's really a platform to teach you what's important about finances. So it's financial literacy, right? Financial literacy, teaching you how to use QuickBooks, how how to look at your numbers, how to read financial statements, the things that are important for startups and growing business owners. So um, it's a new program. We just launched it, and I'm excited about it because one of the things that I've been torn about is that we can't help smaller businesses that don't have the budget,
Right.
to hire us to do the work for them. They kind of have to DIY it first, right? So we
Mhm.
just want to put you on the right path to DIY it till you get to the point where you can hand it off to somebody else. So,
There you
yeah,
go. So
empower,
you got
thrive,
to
and
kind of do
scale.
it yourself until you can afford to outsource
Yes.
it.
Yes.
And
And
you know what?
we are watching, like, quarterly. We give you insights into your business. We look at your financial statements. We look at how you're using the software, and then we bring those air issue areas back to our training sessions. So it's a lot of support, but it's in a group format.
Well, I think that's pretty awesome because there's a
Yeah.
lot of businesses that need that, and even just
Hmm.
the accountability
Yeah.
of having a support group, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
even if I
Yeah.
can't afford to hire a
Hmm.
bookkeeper, just having a
Hmm.
support group and that type of thing, I think that's pretty amazing. I
Yeah.
think that's going to be ultra successful. So,
I'm hoping that it will be. So, I'm pretty excited about it.
Alice Martin is in the house. Alice, thank you for being here.
Welcome, Alice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, but I wanted to tell you how the show is impacting people, because I had someone we know reach out to us about a show we did a couple weeks ago with the energy credit.
yes, yes,
And Sheila messaged me. She said she shared the information. Somebody got $300 credit.
there it
I
is.
know,
So
right?
that's still a Gothard.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow. That is awesome.
Yep. So she shared the information, and she's getting feedback from, what she shared. She shared
This
your
is
show.
the amazing thing, Michelle. I don't know that you got to draw back way back in your memory. This was two, almost 3 years ago.
Hmm.
We had someone on our show. I was dealing. Okay, so I'm not a tax preparer, right? I mean,
Correct. Yes.
I'm not a tax preparer. I can tell you about
Neither am I,
I can
just
tell
so
you
you
about
know.
legal
Yes.
consulting don't do taxes, okay?
That's right. We don't
But,
do
but,
taxes.
but yesterday I was busy like I was a tax preparer, right? Because people
What?
calling me saying I took money out. What about the taxes? And I was like, you got 1099. I can't find it. So I'm like taking phone calls till midnight,
Oh
right?
my goodness.
People calling. And I had one particular client that called a couple times for the same information.
Mm,
And I was
interesting.
like, hmm. But anyhow, the point is it made me I called then a relative said, I just kind of want to put you on alert. And
Mm-hmm.
so anyway, we were into this conversation and we started talking about caregiving.
Mm,
And then it drew all the way back to when Pat Bailey was on our show and she
mm-hmm.
was talking about caregiving,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
caregiving specialists.
Yes.
And so so then I went back and I pulled that show
Mm-hmm.
from 2 years ago. It
Yeah.
was April of 2021.
Wow.
And I sent it to her, and she's
Mhm.
like, "Oh, this is great. I'm going to contact her about perhaps be coaching me,
Yeah.
caregiver."
Nice.
And I was like, "How amazing!" Now, listen, Chad Lawson, Chad, where have you been? This is Chad in Ohio. This was my number one Michigan fan that used to watch each,
Yes.
and I haven't seen you since we won the national championship, beat Ohio State.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, I
Chad,
haven't
don't
seen
listen to
you since
him. Welcome
Chad,
back.
where you been? I know
Welcome
you've
back.
been wearing your Michigan stuff. Chad, I wish I knew you coming. I put on my Michigan hat for you tonight. And the Rainmaker, Janice, the Rainmaker Leak is here. Thank you for being here, Janice. And so we have a phenomenal show tonight. I really just think real estate is one of those important things. We talk about, and those of you who've been watching the show for a number of years know that I'm a protege of Dr. Frazier and others, right? Multiple others have all fed in. But we talk about the 4 pillars of intergenerational wealth. And one of the first pillars, proper management of your current assets, i.e., what we've been talking about in terms of your books, your keeping your credit, your debt, all that, proper management. The second is having the proper insurance and investments, right? And so we're actually going to be talking about some investment opportunities tonight. That's one piece. That's the other piece of it. And then it's real estate. It's ownership. It's having ownership in land, real estate. And so we're hitting 2 of those tonight. And then the fourth one is business development. And I think we're just hitting on all 4 of those topics in our conversation tonight. We have entrepreneurs that's going to be on. They are going to talk about investing, and also we're going to talk about investing not just anywhere, but in real estate in a different way than most people think of, which I think is pretty phenomenal. And all of this is coming off the heels of a couple of weeks ago. We had the whole thing about the options trading on.
Right. Yeah.
So we are delivering to our people exactly what we said we would. So with that, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to come back, and I'm going to have our guests join us on stage.
Do you have passion for your business but feel like your finances are falling short? Running a business takes more than a great idea. It takes a solid financial plan. Mitchell Consulting can help you turn your passion into profit with their financial advisory services. Get the financial guidance your business needs. Contact Mitchell Consulting to learn more about their passion to profit capabilities.
Imagine a life where financial wellness isn't just a dream, but your reality. Welcome to a journey where increasing, protecting, and dominating your money becomes the new normal. With the Real Money Coach, embark on a path towards legacy wealth. Your financial future is not just a matter of chance, it's a matter of choice. It all begins with your free financial wellness checkup. Join us at the Real Money Coach and discover the steps to secure a legacy of wealth for your family. The keys to true financial freedom are within your grasp. Let's build that future, starting now.
All right, Michelle, for those who are listening and not viewing, how do they get in contact with Mitchell Consulting?
You can contact Mitchell Consulting at mitchellconsultingservice.com.
Awesome. And for those of you who may not know, you can just go to therealmoneycoach.com and you get all the information that you need. Michelle, one of the things that I mentioned last week was this project that the motion graphics class had.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so motion graphics class at UNC Chapel Hill. They had a class, and they had what we gave them was just a kind of an outline of who we are, blah, 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 and they asked for a voiceover. So we gave them a voiceover.
Okay.
And they made graphics to match with the voiceover.
Okay.
And I actually tonight, I just pulled it up. I hope I can show this, Dante. I put it in the queue. what my feelings are the best one that these were like freshmen. I mean, they were like
Okay.
young kids, right?
Yeah.
This was their class project, and here's an example of one of them. And there we go.
Take control of your finances today with The Real Money Coach. Our free financial wellness checkup offers personalized insights and strategies to secure your financial future. Don't miss out on the clarity and confidence you deserve. Visit www.therealmoneycoach.com now. That's www.therealmoneycoach.com right now to start your journey towards financial freedom. Your future self will thank you.
Nice.
I thought he did a pretty good job.
Yeah.
So that was their motion graphics project, and so I thought he did a good job.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was kind of like cartoonish, I thought it was kind of neat. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of fun to kind of watch and see the different ideas that they came up with.
So was that
Michelle,
the final? Was that the final?
That was the final project.
Okay.
So there was multiple.
You said there were two.
Yeah, there was two, and it was originally 4, but it dropped the class. So you didn't ever drop a class when you were in college. I dropped.
No, I never drop a class.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Listen, I dropped the same science class 3 times.
Just wasting your money.
So here I was, a senior about to graduate in this freshman
class.
Like, give me some numbers, right?
You know what? I kind of remember that.
You remember that? Earth Studies. I remember Earth Studies 101.
Earth Studies. Well. I took that as a freshman, though.
Yeah.
You should have been in my class.
Yeah, you wouldn't have let me cheat anyway.
No.
Yeah.
But you could have passed the class, though.
I could have passed the class. My professor was horrible. But not to get too sidetracked, I want to introduce tonight Vontenea and Chris Stokes. They are the founders of Secure Living. What I like about them is in just looking at their website and talking to her on a couple of occasions, that they just have a strong standard of trust, transparency. I think they are very experienced in the real estate realm of things. And then as investors, to start this investment fund for real estate, I think was a pretty awesome idea. And so we're not going to delay it any longer. I want to bring them on the stage with us, Chris and Vontenea Stokes of Secure Living Real Estate Investing.
Hello. Y'all have us over here cracking up.
I laugh because, man, y'all got that lighting right, boy. Y'all
they did.
I came back, they look Hollywood.
Yes.
So we had you cracking up, huh?
Mm-hmm. Sure did. That earth science.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the Real Money Coach Show.
Thanks for having us.
So what I'd love to do is just for both of you if you just take a few minutes, just kind of tell us a little bit about, who you are and, where you grew up and how y'all got hooked up, how y'all meet.
Okay.
I'll let you start. Yeah. I'll tell him first.
Okay.
Now, see, when my wife and I tell a story, we've been married. How long me and Lisa been married, Michelle?
Almost 32 years.
Yeah, okay.
It's real close.
She was in our wedding and we was in her wedding. So, but I have my version of how we met, and my wife might have her version. Now, my version probably has more facts.
Oh, Lord.
But tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So my name is Vontenea Stokes. I grew up in the Hickory area, so most of my life. And I attended Pfeiffer University for college. So that's how Chris and I met. We both played basketball. We both studied business. I remember the first time I saw him, I was like, okay, well, who is that? I'm trying to be in his classes, which was easy because it was a small school. But let me let him introduce himself a little bit, and then let's see if I have something to add.
Okay. Yeah. So we've been married for 8 years as of April 14th. So we just celebrated our 8-year anniversary.
Awesome.
I'm originally from Virginia Beach, so beach boy, came to the Carolinas, the country.
Virginia can be the country too.
So Fife University, played men's basketball, and I was just focused on, completing my education. And there, I thought I was going to be an accountant. So Vontenea came creeping in. I didn't pay any mind because I was really determined and focused. It was very challenging for me to get there in the first part. I come from a single parent household and things of that nature. But we finally laid eyes on each other, and then it went from there. So we have 2 beautiful little girls that I'm basically have 3 bosses in the house, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. It's so cute. They Google eyed and all that.
We understand that college love.
Yeah, we understand that. I met my wife in school and as well. So
okay, nice.
Yeah, but that's like we said, almost 32 years ago we've been married. So life is good. It doesn't have to. The good times don't have to end.
They don't.
So don't believe all them horror stories about.
That's nice to hear.
Don't believe all them horror.
Because we about to go out the country, me and my husband.
Y'all going out the country?
Yeah, man. Tried to get y'all to come, but whatever. Maybe I talked to the wrong person.
Maybe. Because we're going out of the country too.
I know y'all are.
Okay. But anyway. Listen. So it's interesting, Chris, you were a accounting major because Michelle was a accounting major, I was a accounting major, my wife was a accounting major. That's how we met, because we were all accounting majors at
accounting majors.
School. And that's kind of how everything worked out that way. So bean counters. So
yes.
And I think, Michelle, you're the only one still counting beans. So
I don't. My team counts beans. I don't count beans anymore.
So tell us a little bit about this venture into real estate. How did you start getting into real estate?
Sure. I think we started investing in real estate probably 2015, 16, something like that. With the support of a family member who kind of brought us along, taught us the ropes a little bit. And since then it's just been trying to go hard at it. We first started investing in college. So Chris actually introduced stocks to me, and educated me a little bit. And then, but we knew that real estate is a wealth builder, right? So how can we get into that and learn and familiarize ourselves with that asset class? What else do you want to say about that?
Yeah, for me, I've always been around real estate. My grandmother and my uncle always had us as young kids, cleaning out houses, painting, and things of that nature. And
so they were active.
They were very active. Yeah. And then fast forward, senior in college, we both got a refund check. So instead of a refund check, we were like, how can we invest in this? We opened I think it was a Scott Trade account back in the day. You can start an account with $500. I remember this vividly. I bought some Nike shares, some Wendy's, and held it for I don't know how long. And then the rest, it was maybe like $7,500. I was like, hey, Grandma, I know you invest in real estate. I know you have this property. We have $7,500. What can we do with this? And she took us to partnership, and that $7,500 turned a profit where we can, into a year later, purchase our first home in 2020.
Wow.
From there, the light bulb just clicked like, wow.
Wow.
We're able to accelerate and pay off our student debt. And they were like, oh yeah, real estate, this is the way
game changer.
Build generation.
Yeah.
With real estate, you make money in several different ways. You have the appreciation, you have the the debt pay down, you have tax benefits, and you have the cash flow. And we were like, we need to build generational wealth, and real estate for us was that asset.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So your first home, was it here in Charlotte? Because
Yep. In Charlotte.
so you guys are planning. Y'all can't go nowhere now. Y'all planted here. So then so what led you to, you know, tell us a little bit more about secure living, the real estate investment. I mean, is it a real estate investor? Is it like a REIT? Is it considered a REIT? Tell us a little bit about secure living.
You want to start why we got started?
Yeah. So let's rewind. We'll rewind just a little bit to give a little bit of background.
Please.
So I have a background in marketing. Chris has a background in finance and banking. And we actually lived abroad for almost 4 years. So we were living in Germany. So we purchased this house, we lived in it a year, and then we had a job opportunity to go live in Europe. So we're like, okay, well, let's go. We'll rent this out. We'll come back to it, that sort of thing. But while we were in Germany, we continued to buy property. And we had family and friends who wanted to invest with us. So we were able to raise about $200,000, which at that time, we didn't really know it was significant. But now, as we're in the business that we're in, secure living, what we're going to talk about, we see that sometimes it's very difficult for people to raise capital, especially from family and friends. So, that's quite an achievement for us. So we, use those funds to mainly buy more properties. But we did kind of have like a little
diversified.
Yeah, it was diversified. Some stocks, some bonds,
fixed income,
things of that nature. And we were like, well, we've been able to, return. We've been able to provide some ROI for our family and friends. How can we do this on a much larger scale? And that's when we started doing research and realized, oh, well, you have to be regulated, and this is a highly regulated space. Like, you can't mess around because the SEC will come knocking on your door. And so then we decided, okay, well, we're going to start a company. We're going to be legit. We're going to get registered with the SEC and FINRA. And that brought us to Secure Living. So that is the company that Chris and I founded. And why don't you talk about a little bit about what we do?
Yeah, so Secure Living is a platform to allow we call sponsors or real estate and investment companies, real estate firms to raise capital from the general public. In the general public, it can be accredited and non-accredited investors. So it's any and everyone that's 18 years or older that's a U.S. citizen can make investments and own shares of properties across the U.S.
Okay, so when they have shares, do they have shares in Secure Living, and then it's just the companies back with these assets they have as far as properties across the country?
Yeah, so they're actually owning shares of specific properties.
Okay.
So, on our platform, we have different property types and different locations with different ROIs, different holding periods. And what we really want to enable people to do is to go to our site and be able to pick and choose the specific real estate property that the specific investment opportunity that fits their portfolio best.
Oh, awesome.
So, yeah, so you asked if it's a REIT. It's not a REIT. So these are like individual investment opportunities with different terms. Yeah, different properties. Yeah.
Okay. So this is very interesting.
Yeah.
With those properties, do you limit how many investors? I know it may vary from property to property, or what the minimum investment is for a particular property. Is it buy and hold, or is it buy and flip, or a little bit of all of that?
Yes. It is very diversified. We like to have a minimum investment opportunity as low as $250. And that is to allow people to kind of get their feet wet. But obviously, there are individuals who are going to invest, thousands of dollars over hundreds of dollars. And that's the beauty of it, is because we want to have, a platform that is accessible. And that's really what we've done, is democratize real estate investing.
So you said as little as $250.
Right.
It ain't a whole lot of investments that you could do.
No.
I saw that look come on, Michelle's like,
Right.
$250. I mean, that's a great, I mean, that's a Christmas gift, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm about to share this house for you for Christmas, So
Exactly.
That's pretty awesome.
And so not only if they have opportunity to invest with as little as $20, $50, they can learn from some of these sponsors. They can interact through our platform, ask questions. They can really become passive before they want to, shift up and be active and get into real estate. So it's also an opportunity for them to see how these deals are vetted on the platform, what these sponsors are offering, how it's structured, so they can get a good idea in terms of what they're investing in, and in the future, if they wanted to do something like that, they could.
Okay. So tell us, you said across the country, how many properties do you own, the Secure Living own or control?
Yeah, so we don't have ownership of any of the properties, but we list them. So we essentially think of Amazon, right? You have individual sellers, selling their product off Amazon. So we have individual investment firms, selling their properties to the general public. So currently, I think we have one opportunity live in Florida, and we have several upcoming. I think 4 or 5 upcoming in the next couple months, all over from Michigan to Atlanta, local here in Charlotte. So we're trying to just have a diverse opportunity where they can pick and choose based on different markets they might be interested in.
Very, very. So how do you pick the properties that you bring into your portfolio?
Yeah, this is a great question. So there's no shortage of real estate companies that need capital, right? So we do have a very thorough vetting process. Right now, we don't limit it to a specific property type. So it could be, multifamily residential. We're even speaking to a real estate company or a company that wants to manufacture or build a manufacturing plant. So we do keep it very broad. But what we like to see, we check the market. We check the core competencies of the company. Does it make sense what they're trying to do, what they're offering? Obviously, we look at the terms of the investment opportunity. So like the ROI, the holding period, are they offering debt or equity, things of that nature. And we also do like a thorough background check. So we're doing background checks on the individuals that own the company as well as the company itself. So that's to kind of summarize it. There's like a laundry list of things that we check and, questions that we ask. It's a thorough process.
Okay. So let's say, for example, I own a property in another state and I'm like, and I want to sell it, or maybe I want to maintain some ownership of it, but I want to use it to raise capital. And I meet your vetting criteria. Is that like a project that you would take? And let's say I wanted to maintain maybe 25% ownership of it, or 50 or something like that. And then I want to sell the other, and it's income property. How does that dynamic work?
Yes, and that's absolutely one of the deals that we actually have coming up, where the sponsor wants to basically sell additional shares to the general public to dilute her ownership and to retain a certain percentage. So that can be done. We will work with you to set up the terms, holding period, return on investment, the frequency that you will pay dividends, and things of that nature. But that's a strategy that is definitely used on our platform.
Wow, interesting. And
the wheels are turning.
The wheels are turning. The wheels are turning quite a bit here, because I think that's so interesting. And then, what if they don't maintain, like, they don't have to maintain a majority of ownership on that property? They could have a minority ownership of it and just sell the rest of it. And then who manages the property?
Right. Good question.
So it depends. I mean, in some cases, the real estate company has their own property management, portion, or they outsource that. It really depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my thoughts on real estate sometimes is that sometimes it's not necessarily the cash flow is not like tremendous on some properties, right? So it's minimum cash flow because you got all the expenses of being a landlord. So sometimes it's not a whole lot of cash flow. So that's kind of like some properties you look at and say, well, this is not cash flowing enough for us to really attract investors to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then the question becomes, you find the property, right? Now, how do you find the investors to invest in that property?
Yep. Good question. Do you want me to answer?
Yeah.
Okay. It's a twofold approach. One, we do have investors on our platform, right? Both accredited and non-accredited. But we like to say that the sponsor of the real estate project also needs to have a network, because we can't guarantee that our investors are going to be interested in any specific opportunities. So what we really look for are those projects that have some sort of community impact. That's one thing that we really like to see, because there's a story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
People will invest in, what they like, who they know. And when, there's that story behind it, or that community impact where people can see, hey, my investment is making a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really the type of opportunities we like to see most on the platform. But, investors come from our network, but also a large majority will come from the sponsors network. And, what's happened is, in the past, people didn't really have the processes or procedures in place to properly raise capital. A lot of people raise capital, let's just say, in an illegal way.
Okay.
They don't know that there's rules behind it, or, they just don't have the tools in place or the knowledge. So we really walk these companies through that process and kind of hold their hand to try to help them have a successful capital raise.
Okay. So let's say that we have a viewer watching tonight, and it's like, man, I wouldn't mind, investing some money in some real estate. What would be their next step? I mean, I know obviously probably go to your website. What happens?
So they should go to our website, register for an account, because that is the best way to kind of stay in the know about what we're doing and upcoming opportunities. So that's secureliving.rei.com. Register for an account, and then browse our projects, the offerings that are available, to really see if there is an opportunity that fits their goals. We encourage people to really look at the details, to look at the project, and to make sure that there's an understanding of what they're investing in.
Yeah, because it's a lot of information shown on these pages, right? You also have the game plan, the strategy behind the actual deal. You have financial statements. You also have like the disclosures, risks, all that. So if investors come to the platform, just make sure you really understand what's going on with the actual project. And if you don't, you can ask a question, and the sponsor can respond and answer. We do have some projects with actual videos where there's live pitches where we ask the sponsor questions and they answer them there, so they can get additional details if they don't want to read all the disclosures, which could be 50 plus pages, right? So
okay.
Don't scare me.
And then an investor would have a prospectus that they would get, for those shares for that property and whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. So and the beauty of it is, if somebody decides, okay, well, this opportunity looks good for me, they invest directly through our platform. So everything's done on our site. And then we also, support managing like those potential return to investors, and updating them with information about the project and things of that nature.
Okay. And so am I assuming that like when those dividends come, they can kind of reinvest that into that project, or do you actually allow them to maybe house those dividends on your platform until they see the next project they want to invest? Or does it have to be like a cash out type of thing?
It's a good question. Since we are not a broker dealer or a bank, it has to be a cash out opportunity. And they would just, once they receive the funds, deploy them again in another project or the same project.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you guys then like a clearinghouse, like the sponsor? Do they send those dividends to you and then you send it out to the investor, or do they send it directly to the investor?
They send them to a third-party transfer agent who basically manages all the shareholders, and they would disperse based on the percentage held of that project.
Okay.
Yeah, FINRA made it really clear, you guys, or funding portal. You do not touch the fund. So yeah, we partner with broker dealers and banks to ensure that the funds are secure and safe and disperse appropriately.
Yeah. So it seems to me, Michelle, it seems to me like you guys are really meeting two needs, right?
Yeah.
Because you're meeting the need of the sponsor, the real estate company, whoever's owning that property, and then you're meeting needs of folks who say, hey, I want to invest, but I want someone else to do the majority of the homework, right? I'll look at it, but I don't want to go out. I don't want to look at the properties. I want you to vet the properties. I mean, it's always due diligence though, right? So you just can't just say, I'll just take your word for it. Everybody's got to do their due diligence, but it seems to me that you've done a lot of the vetting on the front end. So as an investor, I can just come in and look at projects that may appeal to me and then jump on that particular project.
Exactly.
It sounds like it's safer or less hassle than going out purchasing a property and flipping it.
Well, speaking from experience,
they look at each other like, yeah,
right.
Especially, it's definitely less capital intensive to initially start, a less hassle managing
toilets and tenants.
Toilets and tenants.
Toilets and tenants, boy. That's Lord. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's a good entryway for to experience, sponsor, help navigate, your entry into real estate versus you just jumping in and then, making a hiccup here and then boom, your profit's gone or you lost some money. So.
See, the other part that I was wondering about in all of this is two things. Is how does the individual investor can they take advantage of any of the depreciation on these properties, or how does that flow through to them, or is that handled through the dividend process? How does that work?
That's a good question. Disclosure, so we're not, tax advisors or financial advisors, but each investor would get a K1 or 1099, right? And they could be classified as passive investors and get some, benefits of the depreciation of that asset.
Okay.
But
so they're going to get a K1 statement basically for that their investment in that property, and that's going to disclose all the different stuff, and then they go to their tax professional because we're not tax professionals,
right?
What do I do with this K1 statement, right? How do I do this? That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So do you ever do like, let's say I have a house and I'm giving these examples again, right? Because and you mentioned, projects and stuff like that. But what if I'm just an individual and I said, hey man, I got this great place. I want to move, but I want to keep ownership of it, or I don't want to sell it, or maybe, because then I got to recognize all that income at one time. Well, some write-offs. But anyway, what if it's just an individual who has, 2 or 3, 4 rental properties, and they just want to just kind of get out of the business of being a landlord?
We wouldn't immediately rule them out, but there's a lot of things in preparation they have to prepare for. One, registering their company, getting an operator agreement, getting an EIN, things of that nature, because individuals cannot raise capital. It's actually have to be firms. And
what type of firm is it? Can it be an LLC? Does it have to be an S Corp, C Corp? Is there a particular firm?
No specific structure. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then they have to pitch us, pitch a few of our board members the opportunity. But I think the key here is their marketing, right? Can they market to sell their shares to their network, right? Because
Mhm.
our investor base, which continues to grow, they can pick from anyone because we cannot show bias according to the FINRA and the SEC, right? So we have to market each individual investment opportunity equally. It's the job of the potential investor to actually vet the deal out to see which investment makes sense for their risk tolerance and financial situation at the time.
Okay. Now,
Mm.
I know I'm answering a ton of questions.
I know, right?
So when if I open an account on your website, will I be able to see different projects, whether this is a long-term project or this is a short-term project? It'll kind of have those type of descriptive types of things available too.
Yes.
Because maybe I want to invest mine, but I want my money in a year, so maybe it's
Right.
a short term versus maybe a long-term project.
Exactly. Yep. It's all up there.
Okay. Now, what if I buy shares in a property? Can I then turn around and sell those shares on your platform even before that project's done? Is there anything like that where I can trade?
Not yet.
Yeah.
So real estate in general is illiquid asset, but through our transfer agent shareholder management services, you can, if you have a buyer, trade those shares or, pass them to an heir or a sibling or whatever.
Okay.
But you can, but in the future, we're looking
So
towards.
it's possible to do it, but just not on your platform.
Right.
Yeah, we like to say no. I mean, it's possible, right? But we like to say no because it's not so straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, if someone's going to go, they need to be in it long game
for the holding period, right? If it's a 12-month holding period, if it's a 3-month holding period, we don't typically like to take on any investment opportunities that are longer than 5 years, just because we think our investor base doesn't have an appetite for that. But anything from 6 months, 12 months to 5 years, there's.
So you have projects as short as 6 months?
Not yet.
Oh, okay. All right. Gotcha.
In a scenario of someone wants to raise capital that's in the house flipping business, typically that takes like a 3 to 6 month time frame. So yeah, we could have.
We entertain it. Yeah.
And I heard you mention a factory, so you're doing both residential and commercial. Sounds like you're dabbing a little bit over in the commercial side.
Right. I mean, we just want to have a diverse offering.
Sure.
Because we have diverse investors.
Got it.
Interesting.
What do you think, Michelle? You got any questions?
I'm just wondering, what do you build first? Do you build your investor pool first, or do you build your offerings first? Like,
yeah,
we have investors.
Great question. And
one. I mean, obviously, we're entrepreneurs. We've been regulated for 2 years, so we say we're in the startup space, and that is something that we struggled with, right? The chicken or the egg type scenario. We tend to lean more towards growing our investor base. That's really our focus right now. As I mentioned, there's no shortage of real estate companies and good real estate companies that need capital. But really the investor base, that's our focus right now. Educating people about what we do, that is even possible, and then sending them to our platform so they can take a look.
Okay.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I think it's very interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
That's me.
I was so intrigued when you first kind of told me about it, and I'm even more intrigued now because I mean there's a lot a lot to it. Obviously, you guys have done your research and that type of thing, and I'm assuming in growing your investor base also helps you grow your capital, right? So that you. I mean, because you got to raise capital, you got to have capital to do the things that you're doing as well. And obviously, we believe this: if it don't make money, it don't make sense. I mean, you're not doing this as a charity, right? So, all those dynamics, pretty cool.
Well, thank
and
you.
You're so young, like babies, right?
We're babies.
We're focused.
You are.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
we
Michelle,
want
any questions? Any last questions you have? I know I've asked a whole bunch. I mean, that's like I've taken up the most.
No, this is just quite interesting to me.
And you know, so innovative too.
Yeah,
from
very
my
innovative.
perspective, I have not heard of anything. Of course, we've heard about RITs and those type of things,
Right.
but I had not heard of anything like what you're doing. So,
Yeah.
how unique is your platform? And then how unique is it for Black folks to have this platform?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll take this. So, like we said, you have to be regulated in this space, right? So there's about 80 active funding portals. Well, that's what we do. It's a funding portal. We would say less than about 10 of those specifically focus on real estate. So there's funding portals for companies who want to build widgets and, just your startup type of companies that need capital. So less than 10 of those are focused on real estate. 2 of us are Black owned.
Wow.
So we are definitely, well, let me say, as far as the last time I looked it up, right? 2 of us are Black owned when it comes to the real estate portion of it. So we are unique to the space. We are definitely trying to serve, our market and give people access to an asset class that has historically been inaccessible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good
I like
stuff.
that.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So, last words for you guys, Chris, Vontenea, anything you'd like to say to anyone watching or listening as we close out?
Yeah, visit the site, provide feedback, register an account, share it. So as we continue to grow, we get more exciting deals and opportunities to list, to bring your audience, and yeah, just continue to share the word of what we're doing. Crowdfunding in general is relatively new, less than 10 years, and a lot of people are just not aware of this type of structure in investing. So we just want to make sure that everyone is aware of it, support, and if you have sponsors, if you have deals that you want to list and raise capital, hey, send them our way. We can vet them and we can help you raise capital in an efficient way. If you're an investor, you're looking for specific type of investments, we can be on a lookout for opportunities as well.
Awesome.
Well,
thank you all. Thank you both for coming on and sharing this. I think this is important information for people to have. This is financial literacy, right? This is financial literacy month. This April. This is financial literacy. To just see this, and I just want to say kudos to you guys for being entrepreneurs and diving into this space that not many people are in, as you just mentioned, and certainly not many that look like you and I. And so it's pretty awesome.
Well, thank you.
It was a challenge for sure. It's a challenge.
Thank you.
So with that, everybody, we want to thank everyone for listening in. And if you're listening to this as a podcast, again, tell us the website that they can go to.
SecureLivingREI.com.
SecureLivingREI.com. Go visit it. Make sure you visit MitchellConsultingServices.com and also the Real Money Coach. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to the podcast, if that's what you're doing. And we will see you next week. Same place, same time, 8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern time here on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Everybody have a good night.
have a good night.
Thank you.